I'll put it,
page.
I
hey,
could
you know
hear.
what, Diane, I'll put it on the Newport website too. I mean, Facebook page.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, Ryan, how are you?
Good. How you doing, Sean?
Good, good. Hey, I figured out how to do that custom button to launch a third-party website. We were
Really?
talking about that?
Yes.
Yeah, I figured it out. I can show you how to do that.
That's awesome. I ended up, I got the code for Keller Mortgage to put on my website.
Oh, nice. It works good?
Yep. Oh yeah, it's awesome. But I want that button though, if we can link up later.
Okay. You got it. All right, I'm going to share my screen with you guys. I just started recording. What I'm going to do today is go through how to create a paid Facebook ad. I've been playing around with it for a while, and I've run several ads. I finally learned a few tips a couple weeks ago, and I ran an ad, I think it was last weekend or the weekend before, just as a test. I spent $25 and got 12 leads. So
Wow.
pretty good return. Yeah. So I'm going to use the same method I used today, and then I'm going to run another one, and you guys can see what I'm doing. So let me fire up campaign area. So that's where you would do this from, right here, this campaign. If you ever forget what these icons are for, just hit this red KW, and it'll give you the titles for each one. So I'm going to go over to campaigns. And this is where you're going to start to build your Facebook ad. So you can do several different campaigns here. You could do a social post, a paid campaign, an email, or direct mail. So we're going to do a paid ad today. And I'm going to use Paula's listing. I spoke to Paula earlier. She gave me permission to use her listing for an ad. I typically, if I don't have a listing that I want to promote of my own, I'll reach out to someone in my office and ask them permission to promote theirs. All right, so by default, when you first log in, it looks like it lands on your dashboard now. So this is just going to give you an idea of the ads that you've produced, what they're doing, how good they're doing, how poorly they're doing. It just gives you a nice graph right here. I'm going to jump right over to paid ads. Actually, I'm going to hit create a new campaign right up here, right out of the gate. And I'm going to hit social ad paid. So this is going to be my new Facebook campaign. So I'm going to call it, actually, I'm going to give the address of Harding. Harding, and I'm going to advertise the listing. And I'm going to run this one on Facebook, right? So I gave my campaign a name, Harding, that's the street address. I chose to advertise a listing. That's the goal of this campaign, and I'm going to run it on Facebook. So I'm just going to hit OK down here. Now what's going to happen, it's going to open up the editor for me so I can start to create the actual lead, the ad itself. So because I selected promote a listing, it's going to go by default and grab any listings that I have. So it goes out to KWLS and it grabs, I'm sorry? Is that a question? Okay. So it goes out to KWLS and grabs any active listings you have by default. I'm not going to use my listing, so I'm going to come over here and change this from only my listings to all listings. So now anything that's in KWLS is going to show up. So I'm going to type in the address. And hit search. And here it is right here, 113 Harding Street. So I'm gonna go ahead and select that. That's the listing I wanna promote. I just hit select. So now it's going out to KWLS and it's gonna grab the images, the description, all of that good stuff directly from the listing. So if you see on the right-hand side, this is where the ad itself is being built. And on the left-hand side is where you can edit the content, okay? So if you're happy with the way the description is, then you can just leave it. Or if you want to edit anything in here, you can go ahead and do that. So I'm going to leave this as is because I think it looks pretty good. I'm going to create a headline, which is going to go right above this. So you can see on the right-hand side, it's building the title right here, the headline, and then description. Okay, so I'm going to do this. It's just putting a little bit of text underneath that headline right there, right? So you can see what's happening is I'm creating the type on the left, it's creating the ad on the right. So if I'm happy with what is written here, I'm going to hit save ad text. So it's going to retain any of the text that I've created right there. So the next step is the ad media itself. So that is, you hit configure. Now by default, it grabs the first image out of KWLS, just as it is on the KWLS site. If you want to add additional images, you just hit this add more button right here. So if you've got 20 images on your listing, they're all going to show up right here. So let's say I wanted to add an interior shot. Maybe I'll add the kitchen. You got to do them one at a time. So you hit preview and crop. By default, it's going to keep it at a wide. If you wanted to change it to square or vertical, you could do that as well. I'm going to leave it like this and just save that image. I would recommend adding 1 or 2 images. I wouldn't add more than that because people aren't really going to scroll through them all. Plus, you want to give them a tease of what the house looks like, not show them the entire thing. So the object for the ad is to give them enough information that they're interested and that they're going to fill the lead form out for you. So, because that's the goal, right? You want to capture a lead. If you give them too much information, then they're just going to go jump on Zillow and find it and look at it that way. They probably won't fill your form out. All right, so I'm just going to add one more image. I'll add this one for the basement. So it's got a finished basement, so I'll add a finished basement image. Okay. So now you've got your images. They're going to rotate in a carousel when the ad is running. The only other thing you can do on in this area for your media is you can move the logo. See the logo, the KW Central down here in the bottom right? The only thing you really can do is move that to the left if you prefer. So if I hit left, it's just going to move that image, that logo image from the right to the left-hand side. That actually looks better on the right, so I'm going to put it back. All right. So if I'm happy with this, happy with the images, I'll just hit Save Add Media. Oh, one other thing I should add, if you have a video that you want to add, you can do that as well. So if you've got, a walkthrough of the property, you can link to that video right here. So I'm going to save this. All right, so now I've got my text, I've got my images. The next step is to configure the ad itself. So first question is, where are you going to run this ad from? What page is going to sponsor it? So right now you see how it says Keller Williams sponsored up in the upper left. Once you select your business page, your Facebook business page, it's going to brand it now to your business page, right? So see how it's changed? Now it's got my picture, and then it's connected to my business page. So I'm the sponsor. The next question is, what do you want to use to capture the lead, right? So you have two options. You can use the Facebook lead form, or you can point it to a third-party landing page. So you may have created a landing page on your KW Command website that you want to capture leads from, or maybe you use a third-party system to capture leads. You can point them in that direction. The other option is to use the built-in lead form within Facebook. I've had more success with the lead gen form in Facebook because people are used to seeing it. You have probably seen it yourself. When you click through on an ad, a little form pops up and it's already pre-filled out with a bunch of your information. It's got your name, your email address, possibly your phone number, all on that form already. And all you got to do is hit save or enter or learn more, whatever the button says, and the form gets filled out and sent off. So I would recommend using that method. I've gotten actually 100% more leads using it that way versus using my landing page. So I'm going to leave this as is. You can change the label of the button. There's only a couple options: learn more, sign up, or apply now. Depending on what your ad is trying to do, I'm going to leave it at learn more. And then the destination URL is where you're going to send them after they click through on that button. So what I have done that seems to be working is I bring them to that listing on my website. So I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to go to my website. So this is my command website. And I'm going to do a search and find that property on there. Because the other thing I want to do is I want to not only capture their lead information, but I want to drive them to my website. I don't want them to go to Zillow. I don't want them to go to Realtor. I don't want them to go anywhere else but my website to find that property. Here it is right here, 113 Harding Street, West Warwick. So I'm going to click on that. That's going to bring me to that listing. Then I'm going to copy this. So I'm going to copy this URL and I'm going to shorten it using Bitly. You guys familiar with Bitly?
No.
If you're not, bitly.com. It's just going to shorten that URL to something more friendly. So as you can see, this is a free service. You don't have to pay for it. So I'm going to create a new URL. And I'm going to copy it. Then I'm just going to go back to my campaigns. And I'm going to paste that right in here. Okay. So what I just did there was I went and found the listing on my website. I shortened the URL using Bitly, and then I copied and pasted it into my Facebook ad, right? So when the user fills out the form, it's going to bring them to my website directly to that listing, 113 Harding. Make sense? Okay. The last thing you can do under the Facebook ad area is you can use custom settings. So by default, it's going to pick up where your listing is, and it's going to create a radius of 20 miles around it. So what that means is it's going to target an audience of 20 miles around this listing on Facebook. So any Facebook user that lives within 20 miles has the opportunity to get this Facebook ad put in front of them. So that's very generic. If you wanted to use custom settings, you can turn this on. And then you can do a couple of things. If you wanted to target your database, for example. So if you just wanted to run your ad to your database within Command, you could do that. If you want to run it against the general population, you just use a custom audience, right? So it's going to go 20 miles around your listing. You can change this. I believe the minimum is 15. So if you wanted to narrow your radius, you can do that, or expand it. You can do that as well. The other thing you can do is you can filter out or filter in people that you want to see your ad. So under these interests, these are like psychographics about people. So people that are searching for mortgages or Zillow.com or Realtor or any of these keywords, you can focus on those people by targeting them, right? So you know how when you go and you are looking for, I don't know, a new car or something, and you type in, Ford Explorer, you start to see Ford Explorer ads on your Facebook. Well, that's how this all works. So if you want to target people that are searching on Zillow or searching for homes or searching for mortgages, you can go ahead and type that stuff in here. For example, you could say Zillow. If that's in the list of interests, you can go ahead and select that to narrow your audience, right? So people that are searching on Zillow, just click them right here. And then, and, so you can be real specific and say Zillow and Realtor. That would probably give you a real narrow focus. I wouldn't recommend that. But if you wanted to build like Zillow, mortgages, Realtor, you can do that right here. So I've done this a couple of times, and I've talked to other people that don't narrow their focus at all. So for this ad, I'm not going to target an audience. I'm just going to leave it by default. So I'm going to go back, shut this off, and I'm just going to leave the default setting and see what happens with this ad. I've narrowed before, so I want to try it a little bit differently. You can play with it on your own to see what works for you. So those, that's pretty much how you build the ad, where you want the user to go once they click on the form, and then who do you want to target, okay? So that's basically the ad at this point. If you guys are asking questions in the chat, as soon as I get to the next step, I'll pop over there and answer it for you. So the last step when you're building an ad is to create how long you want it to run and how much you want to spend, right? So that's the duration and budget. So by default, it gives you 10 days to run the ad at $3 a day for a total of $30. I found that if you're going to promote a listing or an open house, the duration should be much shorter, and you can leave the ad spend about the same. So for this one, because it's a listing, I'm going to shorten this up. So I'm going to let it run for 4 days. So what's today? Today's the 23rd? No, 22nd, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it'll start Thursday, I'm gonna have it run through Sunday. So the reason why this says it's starting tomorrow is because once you save this ad and submit it and publish it, Facebook has to do a compliance review first before they'll allow it to go out. So they just want to make sure that you're not doing anything that violates Facebook policy. So they have a compliance review first. Typically takes about 24 hours. Sometimes it's shorter. I've seen it as quick as 4 hours. So like if I publish this in the next 30 minutes, it may go out tonight at 9 or 10 o'clock, or it may go out at 7 or 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. I don't know. It all depends on how quickly Facebook reviews it. So I'm going to change this from 30 to 25. So my ad is going to run from Thursday to Sunday this week. I'm going to spend $25 on it. And basically it's going to be about $8 a day. Okay. So if I'm good with that, I hit save duration and budget. And now my ad is ready to go. So you can preview what it looks like on the right here, what it looks like on a web, what it looks like on a phone, you know, that sort of thing. If you're happy with it, then you just hit the publish campaign and let it go. If you want to save it and then edit it again later, you could do that as well. So I'm going to save this for now because I may go back and change a couple things. So I'm going to save it as a draft. While that's saving, I'm going to come over here and look at some questions. So a couple of people said that they're having trouble finding listings in KWLS.
Mm-hmm.
That's true?
Yes.
Okay.
Me too.
Did you, what I did before, I had that problem once before, and I went into the KWLS separately to see if the listing was there.
Yep. I
And
did do that.
was it there?
It didn't come up in your data area. I had to go click on find my listing and it said accepted, but it still wasn't showing up in that data area. And I
Okay.
have an email in right now with support
Okay.
to find out what's going on.
Okay. Yeah, it happened to me once and then it magically fixed itself, so I'm not sure.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'll find out. Hopefully.
Hey, Ryan, so the targeting thing, I don't know. I mean, I was told not to pick any more than like 5. Otherwise it gets too narrow. So that's why this time I'm going to try and select 0 and see what happens.
Okay.
All right. I'll let you know.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot, and I didn't get a lot of response from it. So
Yeah, maybe it was too narrow then.
yeah.
So I'm just going to go with the wide net and see what happens on this one.
Also,
Okay.
you want to be careful on how you link them. Don't say "and" unless you want a really tiny audience. If you're going to have multiple qualifiers in there, make sure they're "or" linked. Otherwise, it looks for people who do everything you asked for, and then that just narrows down your scope to nothing.
Yeah. Good point. All right, so this is your dashboard of anything that you've run or are running. So you could see that the one we just created together, it's now a draft. If I had hit publish, this would say pending because it would has to go to Facebook for compliance first. And then once it's past pending, it'll say active. So this would be active. And the other state it could be is completed. So these are ads that I've run in the past. So like I was saying, it's been a learning process for me. I had videos that I ran at first, and I ran them for a long time, 10 days. I got impressions and I got clicks, but I got no leads, right? Then I ran, this was an open house, this one. 12,000 impressions, right? Which is awesome. But I got no leads again, right? I did a download my app one. I got no leads out of that one. Then a couple weeks ago, I ran this one, which was a new listing. I ran it for 3 days. So pretty much what we just did with this one. 3 days, I spent $25. 2,000 people saw it. 125 people clicked on it. And I actually captured 12 leads out of it. And the difference are a couple things. One, this other listing or open house that I promoted, I gave the price and the address. I was told to remove those the next time I ran an ad. Because if you give them too much information, they're just going to go, they're not going to fill out your lead form, and they're just going to go find it on their own. I mean, people are pretty smart now on being able to find homes. So for this ad that I was able to capture leads, I removed the price and the location, and I kept the description pretty generic and really highlighted the neighborhood. So doing those things definitely increased my lead capture from 0 to 12. So 12 may not sound like a lot, but if you run enough ads, so if I ran 3 or 4 ads at the same time over a weekend, if I got 12 to 15 leads off of each one, that's 45 to 60, leads that I could grab over a weekend or a few days. Okay. All right.
Sean, I
Everybody
have
good
a
with that?
question. Yeah, I have a
Yeah.
question, Sean. It's Andrea. So I ran an ad and I did it over, I'm doing it, it's in the middle of it, over 14 days. I've gotten, I don't know how many impressions, which I don't really know how much that matters. Gotten quite a few clicks and I've gotten 20 leads.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I took the leads as they come in and I created a smart plan and I added them to a smart plan.
Mm-hmm.
And first I'm, calling them, and then they get an email. All of the leads, because this ad was generated from a lead form, Facebook lead form, just like you just did.
Yep.
But I'm not getting any responses. So some of the phone numbers are fax machines. Some of them don't exist. They just go to, that number is no longer in service.
Mm-hmm.
But I am capturing email addresses that appear to be valid. I've only gotten 1 bounce back from the email address out of 20. So now I'm like, okay, so now what do I do? And I'm just like, I'm not getting engagement. And one of the emails that comes out of the smart plan says, further information. I think it's the second one. If you would like to, first one says, thank you for your inquiry. Second one says, if you'd like more, a link to a virtual tour, then, call or email me back.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I still haven't gotten any, they're nothing more than a lead.
Yeah. I mean, these kind of leads are just like Zillow leads or Realtor leads or any other lead. You're going to have bogus ones. You're going to have, medium ones, and you'll once in a while get a good one. It's a volume game.
All right.
I'm doing the same thing, Andrea. I create a smart plan for Facebook follow-up, and as soon as I get a lead, I put them on the plan, and at some point someone's going to respond. It's just going to take time.
Okay.
Yeah. However, I'll tell you that, if you spend money on Zillow or Realtor, the cost per lead is nowhere near $2, right?
Oh, I know.
It's like 30, 40, $50 per lead.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I ran a duplicate ad, one with the lead generation form and one where it was just going to the site pages. And again, you're right. It's just that lead generation form from Facebook is what seems to be but it always says that the preferred method of contact is email. Is there, when you fill out a Facebook lead form, would there be a choice of call, or was it just automatically generated to say, or goes to the default?
It goes to the default.
Right, yeah.
And thanks for bringing that up, because I was messing around with Facebook yesterday, And it looks like you can create your own lead capture form. So I'm gonna mess around with that and see what that looks like and see if I can use it. I'll let you know.
Okay.
All right, anybody else got questions?
Hey, Sean,
Yeah,
that Facebook lead capture form, is that the email that they're using for their Facebook login, or can they write like joeblow@joeblow.com?
I believe it grabs the one that they're using for Facebook.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, but I do believe it's editable too. So if they wanted to change it, they could.
Right. I'm just wondering if that's maybe why there's better caption, because they're using an actual email.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing too. Like, a lot of people don't put their phone number in Facebook. That's optional. So that field may or may not be filled in, and they're asked to put it in. But you're right, email is always pulled because everyone has an email in Facebook. All right. Any other questions?
No,
All right.
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Do you want to do an Instagram ad? I mean, it's the same steps. I could do it if you want to. Or if this is good, we're good.
Sure.
I guess
Yeah,
there
you
is
want to do one?
too. Yeah.
All right, let's do it. I'll run an Instagram one. Same property.
So when you run an ad, do you not do Facebook and Instagram at the same time?
I don't. I tried it before, and the Facebook ads were fine, but the Instagram ad never went out. It got stuck in pending forever. So I don't know if it's because there's different like image requirements or something. So I was told just to run them on separate channels completely.
Also, have you tried the Twitter?
I have not.
Okay.
So same idea, right? I went and grabbed that listing for Harding and, grabbed the stuff from KWLS, grabbed the text. So I'm good with that.
So all you do is when you go to like start your meeting, you do everything for yourself.
Now I can add my pictures.
Whatever you want to like,
So let me add another picture to this.
click the new part. Whatever that you want, you like, I'm doing it right now, so just like same thing.
Quick question, Sean. Is there
Yeah.
a way to see your ad on Facebook or Instagram, like as a consumer? Because it never goes across your own page, I don't think.
Yeah. You can view it from command, I believe, the saved ad. I don't know on Facebook where you could find it. That's a good question.
Maybe if I start searching like I'm looking for a house.
Yeah, yeah. I know my ad's shown up on my own Facebook page a couple times.
Mhm.
The way that I found it is if somebody likes it, you click on the notification that they liked it and you can view it that way.
Hmm.
Okay. So I'm gonna run it. It's connected to my Facebook business page. I'm gonna use the Facebook lead gen form, just like before. I'm gonna use that same URL. So after they click through, they're going to go visit that home. And then again, I'm just going to leave the target area alone. So I'm going to save that. And then I'll do the same thing down here. I'll run it the same days. So I'll let it start tomorrow through Sunday. And I'll do 25 bucks here too. And that's it. Easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to just shorten this up. Okay. Done. All right, so this one I'll publish. It's going to grab my credit card. And I hit create campaign. If you've got a couple of things. One, if you I just put 25 bucks basically in the account to run this against, and it's going to remove money every day, right? It's $8 a day. It's going to take out of my account. If 2 days into this, I decide this thing isn't working, it sucks, I'm not getting any leads, you can stop that campaign. Whatever money's left stays in your budget. So if you don't restore that ad, the next new ad you go to, it's just going to pull from your budget first before it charges your credit card. Make sense? Okay. So that's pretty much it. So this is going to start tomorrow once it goes through review. I'll make this one active too while we're here. So let's just say I saved it as a draft, which I did. Now I'm going to go back and make it active. All right, so now it's going to grab that that ad we created earlier. I'm not going to change anything, but let's just say, for example, you went and changed the text. You can do that. I'm going to hit publish campaign.
Then like when everyone's connected, you try to go over here, you want to do a video, you want to get
Same thing, it's going to ask me if I want to use this credit card. Yes, I do. Hit create campaign. Now it's going to bring me back to that dashboard again. All right. So now you can see that I've got my Instagram ad right here, my Facebook ad. They're both in review. They're both going to start tomorrow. So very easy to do. And again, there are other campaign types you can do. It doesn't always have to be listings. You could do some branding ones. You could do, to attract buyers, attract listings. There's a whole bunch of different things that you could do. It depends on the content you build that's going to attract people to it. So, you can use a video, you can use static images, whatever it is that you think is going to attract people. My advice to you is to take a look at what other people are doing, maybe attend some webinars or seminars about Facebook lead generation, and just pick up some ideas there. I'm not the expert at that at all, I can tell you that much. So I'm learning just like you guys are. All right, that's pretty much it. Anybody have any questions? All right, awesome. So if there are no questions, I'll let you guys run and get on with the rest of your day. And thanks for attending. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Sean. Have a good
You're
day.
welcome.
Thanks a lot, Sean.
All right, you're welcome.